part 2. Part dos of Pete and Nick's monthly movie marathon Mission Impossible recap is what we're calling it officially. Thank you for those who listened to part 1, which came out yesterday.
Yeah.
By the time you're listening to this.
Yes.
But this is recorded very late in the game.
Yeah.
We've had a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Which included watching the reason we're doing this episode, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Thoughts to come maybe at the end of the episode. Maybe we'll do a little tease because we've got 3 more Mission Impossibles to get through there. And we saved these 3 for the end because this is the McQuarrie era. This is the McHugh, Tom Cruise pairing, the musings of each other, using each other's technical prowesses and desire to put yourself in death-defying situations to bring cinematic joy to the boys and the girls of the world of cinema. But this is also the final episode of Monthly Movie Marathon.
It is the final reckoning.
What a
of
journey.
The Monthly Movie Marathon.
Is genuinely the final reckoning. I feel like it's only appropriate to have maybe like the graduation song play over a montage of us having fun.
Vitamin C
As
song.
we go on.
I'll always remember that in Scary Movie
Scary.
2. She's like, will you shut the fuck
up and let me sing? The little montage of Pete and I laughing and loving and living over the last 4 years that we've done this show, over 60 episodes or something being a monthly show.
That makes sense.
Which has been a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, like we need to preface that.
We shall preface,
We're not stopping. We're not finishing up because we secretly like hate each other.
No.
And we're just like, we're fucking done.
But it was time. It was time to call time.
Closing time.
We looked out to the plains and a mystical thing appeared to us and said, the next chapter is beginning. But yeah.
You there.
You over there. We are, Monthly Movie Marathon's coming to an end, but the adventures of Pete and Nick are far from over.
They're never going to end.
They're never going to end.
Until one of us dies.
Literally, we're contractually obligated to continue working. We sold our souls to the cinematic devil. Maybe Tom Cruise. It looks like it potentially could have been Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But you know, it's been fun. We've covered a lot of movies on this show. We've watched a lot of movies for this show.
Yeah.
And with where we both are in our careers, I guess you could say, the obligations that we now have with certain things, certain websites that we've just launched, which now will take up a lot of our time.
Yeah.
In a good way. It's transitioning into a new season of podcasting for us.
Yes.
We still have 0 to 100.
We do.
Currently in fresh mode.
Yes.
We're hitting the 60s.
So
we're in the 60s, baby.
It's like we're talking about good movies.
Fresh movies.
Fresh movies, yeah.
Are they fresh to us? Tune in.
You'll have to
find out.
Have to listen. And I'll apologize for the... It's been
we've
a
had
bit of a gap.
We're hiatus. We're going into the next season.
But that'll all be explained in the opening of that episode.
There we go,
So,
which you'll be able to hear very, very soon.
Yeah.
And then I launched worldofscreens.com today, which I'm very excited about, my own website, in which there will be a podcast version coming sometime in June, which you will then hear the sultry voices of Pete and I once more behind the mic. But we need a couple of weeks to maybe just have a rest.
Yeah. Let a bitch breathe.
And do that. So lots of things on the horizon, lots of interview prospects on the horizon.
Oh, my word, yes.
We are definitely in the post-writing and acting strike season of film now.
100%.
Because the amount of junkets we potentially have over the next 6 weeks are insane.
Actually, that just made me think of something from Mission Impossible that I'll talk about when we get to the final reckoning.
Let's, what? We're talking about letting a bitch breathe. Someone who, in the final reckoning, literally put that idea to the test was Mr. Tom Cruise. And, and I tell you what, that's not a man who takes a break.
No, it's not.
He doesn't like to rest, and neither does McHugh, Christopher McQuarrie, by the sounds of it, as we enter the McQuarrie era of Mission Impossible films. So
the McQuarrie
the McQuarrie Cruiser sons, the Cruiser McQuarrie sons, the McCruiser sons,
Ooh,
the McCruiser sons. There we go. That's called brainstorming.
That rolls off the tongue much better.
That's exactly what any form of formal meeting between Pete and I looks like when we're coming up with any ideas.
We just word smash it until something sounds good.
And we're also professionals. And so, but the McQuarrie era, right? So Ghost Protocol, as we said in the last episode, kind of soft rebooted the franchise a little bit. It was this continuation on from number 3, but it was kind of, it was the first subtitled Mission Impossible film with Ghost Protocol.
I think,
it was one that really focused on the stunt aspect.
Yeah. I think
things.
I think 3 was in some ways a soft reboot as well.
That is a good point.
Because we waited 6 years between 2 and 3.
That is a good point. Yeah.
And 2.
And then 5 years
2 just really kind of was like.
2 was a sour taste in many of people's mouths.
And
apologies, John Woo.
And obviously 3 brought things back. And then 4, and then 4 was another 5 years later.
Yeah.
But Ghost Protocol was very much like the film that, like J.J. Abrams
producing it
because he was meant to do it.
Yes, but Brad Bird came to direct.
Who obviously made his live action debut
with that
film, and we spoke about it in that last episode. Yes. Like The Incredibles is like one of the greatest action movies.
My
of all
favorite
time.
Pixar film as well.
But Ghost Protocol very much was like, all right, we've seen Tom Cruise do some crazy shit.
Yeah, like what?
But like,
what will he do?
Just how crazy can he get?
And we mentioned in that episode as well, it seems like Jeremy Renner was the successor, the guy who was potentially going to maybe carry the franchise. It was a weird point in films.
Because it's like they brought, because at this point, Jeremy Renner has been working for so long.
Yes.
But basically was like the Hurt Locker that kind of propelled him to people being like, oh, this guy.
He's in an Oscar-winning film.
And then he gets an Oscar nomination for The Town, which rightfully so.
I have been thinking about The Town so much lately. I think it's with The Accountant too and Ben Affleck and stuff. I really just want to rewatch that.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
So then that kind
of
thing.
I'm watching it tonight.
And then obviously Avengers becomes massive. And then him coming into Mission, there was this thing of like, because at this point as well, Tom Cruise was still in this kind of weird era of like, is he still a box office draw?
Is he a box office draw? Do people just like him?
Yeah.
Do they like his personality?
We will say the absolute rebranding of Tom Cruise has been next level because 20 years ago, people were not here for him.
Oh, fuck no. He was jumping on Oprah's couch. He was telling Peter Overton to put his manners back into his pocket.
That's kind of fair, though.
It's fair, but it's iconic, right? Like,
so then he's done, after Mission Impossible 3, he does a few films, but people aren't really showing up to them as much.
No, totally.
So Ghost Protocol is kind of like, all right, we'll go with a movie series that we know hits, but we'll bring in some Jeremy Renner as there's the potential.
Yes.
Tom Cruise has always said, and I think Jeremy Renner has said, it was like there was never the plan to lead a Mission Impossible series without Tom Cruise.
Sure.
But who knows if
that's just because whatever happened, the success of Ghost Protocol.
Yeah. Ghost Protocol, Ghost Protocol was what in the 90s for.
Yes.
Yeah, Ghost Protocol was
and its box office, I think we recall, was incredible, something like 600 million.
So Ghost Protocol, everyone just goes, oh, these Mission Impossible films are legit.
Well, and if this is what we're going to get,
where can we possibly go from there? So when we go from 2011 to 2015, so another 4 years, and we get Rogue Nation
directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who people forget, Academy Award-winning screenwriter
of The Usual Suspects.
So he's come in. Christopher McQuarrie's come in, right, with Rogue Nation. And I remember being super excited for this film because, as has the marketing of the Mission Impossibles continuing down this tradition, all we fucking saw was behind-the-scenes footage of Tom Cruise attached to the side of an airplane as it's taking off.
Yeah.
And everyone went, holy shit.
And then
he is a madman.
And then it was also that they were like, oh no, as much as he's on the side of a plane, we want you to actually go, he's on the side of a plane. This is not like they've done incredible CGI.
Yep.
Because these films do have good CGI. But when Tom Cruise is in a death-defying situation, yes, he is obviously harnessed to everything.
Oh, yeah. But safety is first, and he knows that.
But he's still on the side of a plane in the fucking air. Like,
it's incredible.
It is next level.
And that's how they open the fucking film.
Yeah.
So where do we go from there? I'll tell you what, we go Rogue Nation, baby, because for the next hour, 2 hours, Pete and I are about to gush over the McQuarrie You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Am I right, guys?
So fucking, I'm the movie guy.
Carly's so handsome.
So good.
Watch
Great
SNL Walton
skit.
Goggins if you can, because that's what we're talking about, yeah.
But it to me, the success of Ghost Protocol obviously created a hunger for this. And Christopher McQuarrie, who had worked with Cruise on Jack Reacher.
I'm also going to say underrated.
Super underrated.
Like, yes, Tom Cruise doesn't look like Jack Reacher.
As described.
Alan Richardson is fucking perfect.
As described in the books.
But when you watch those Jack Reacher movies, it makes sense as to why people are kind of intimidated by Tom Cruise in those movies.
He has an aura.
Because he also like beats the shit out of people very easily.
As he does in the Mission Impossible films.
But
right?
I think, but McQuarrie and Cruise very much were like formed a very good working relationship on Jack Reacher.
Yeah. And they both want the same thing out of movies.
Yes.
Let alone, not even just like a professional relationship, but they're both just like, we want to see this in film.
Have you seen
How do we do it?
Have you seen what McQuarrie said at Cannes?
No.
So going off this, he was
of course, the Final Reckoning just premiered.
Yeah. So he was talking about like how much he's like wants to see these kind of films in cinemas.
Sure.
And basically he was just like, I am not entertaining the notion of a conversation about streaming. He's like,
beautiful.
I make movies for the cinemas. He's like, there is something so majestic about everyone sitting in a cinema together. And he's like, he's like, streaming, he's like, is such a danger to that.
Wow.
And you know what? Absolutely fair.
We love
because
you.
As much as streaming is convenient, streaming is not the way to watch movies intended for the cinema.
Absolutely not.
There's a reason why streaming movies are usually streaming movies.
Yeah. If they're going to work at the cinema, you'll see them at the cinema.
And I don't think we will ever see Tom Cruise in a straight to streaming movie.
I don't think so either.
Like I don't think Netflix or like Amazon, I don't think any of them are gonna.
No.
I don't think any of them are gonna lure him away from like doing something in cinema. And God bless you for that, Tom Cruise.
God bless you, Tom Cruise. God bless you, Christopher McQuarrie.
Yeah.
And I mean, they bring it like this. I feel like this conversation we were talking about beforehand, because this is where Mission Impossible sort of more became a stringed narrative over a couple of films.
Yeah.
There are elements to the initial four that we talked about in the last episode that, while have some connective tissue character-wise, are kind of standalone adventures.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie, Rogue Nation, sort of begins or continues a Ghost Protocol-esque story, but sort of starts its own as a lot more returning characters, like outside of the normal crew of Luther and Benji and things like that. But also, McQuarrie and Cruise love playing with this idea of all the decisions Ethan Hunt has made over his life are going to start having consequences. And we get that with the Syndicate, which was teased at the end of Ghost Protocol when they go to the Syndicate.
So it is nice that like Ghost Protocol, because a lot of the times we meet characters that then we just never see again.
Yes.
And like sometimes it's a bit of a shame because
it felt like Mission Impossible was always trying to reboot itself. Like they were successful, but it's like, let's try something new. Let's do something different.
It was kind of it was like basically doing like the Bond thing.
Yes.
Where for so long it was like a standalone villain and standalone Bond girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it's kind of like McQuarrie's kind of done what the Daniel Craig Bond movies were, which were very, like they were kind of a connective tissue.
Yes.
Because obviously Eva Green's character, Vesper Lind.
Yeah.
Her presence was felt across all the
films. Four.
Casino Royale, Quantum of
Quantum,
Solace,
Spectre.
Skyfall, Spectre, No Time to Die.
How could I fucking forget Skyfall?
Yeah.
5 films, yes.
So 5 films. But then kind of like the way that introduced for Spectre, we had like Léa Seydoux' character and Christoph Waltz. And they very much continued on for No Time to Die, which is rare for
super rare
people. So we get, with these, we've got Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt. Also, Ethan Hunt feels like the same Ethan
person.
Hunt.
Yeah.
And we get McQuarrie's like same directing style.
Yeah, the same visual aesthetic, same sort of dynamic energy.
We have the continued sort of heightened presence of Benji and Luther.
Yeah.
And then we get the introduction in Rogue Nation of the lovely Ilsa Faust, played by Rebecca Ferguson, who
is incredible.
And her introduction into this film is
phenomenal.
Chef's kiss.
Yes.
And then you get the introduction, and then you get another scene in what we'll just say is the yellow dress at the opera, and it's fucking stunning.
She's stunning, but then she's also kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah.
Big time in that scene as well.
Yeah.
She is such a welcomed addition, such a great addition, not just because the character of Ilsa Faust and the dynamic and relationship she has with Ethan Hunt is very interesting.
Well, because it's very much like...
She's great.
Rebecca Ferguson is like a fantastic actress. 100%. And like the thing that is great about Ilsa Faust is that it's like, for a lot of Rogue Nation, you're like, I don't know if I can trust you, but goddamn, I want to.
I want to
because she's like
she is the anti Ethan Hunt.
Yeah,
not that she's a villain, but she will do what she needs to do to survive and get the job.
She's like I'm in self-preservation mode
all the time,
and if that means I have to kill someone that you love, I'll do it. But she's also like, but I'm not gonna feel great about it.
No,
but then but then Ethan sort of, brings her in, and the way that we see Ethan with when he loves a character, he's like, I love you, and I will go to the end of the earth for you. And we see that with Luther, we see that with Benji, we see that with his wife, we see it with Ilsa,
and this is what this series of the McQuarrie series of films does so well, is that it is constantly, the narratives and the villains are constantly punishing Ethan for this. They're always pointing out, and even the governments that he's working for, whether it's the CIA trying to take him down, even the IMF call him out, to the point where the president of the United States in Final Reckoning calls him out. Ethan is always going to choose to save the ones he cares about, even if it means putting the greater good of the world at risk.
Yeah.
And that is interesting.
Yeah.
That is dynamic storytelling.
Yeah.
But it adds way more stakes than just Ethan Hunt has to save the world from a nuclear blast.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, fuck, we've seen that everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that. But when he's challenged, and you genuinely, and Tom plays it with such sincerity too, which is why it works.
That's it. We also need to remember, like,
banterous and natural.
As much as these movies are action, and some might say there's a little bit of like silliness to them in terms of just how like outlandish they are.
Obviously, they get, in fairness, they get sillier and more mockery of the self-seriousness as they go on.
Yeah.
But some people critique, and I understand it, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
But like, saying that, it's like, but we've got to remember, like, Tom Cruise gives a perform. Like, he's
Ethan Hunt.
Like, every time he like says something like, you need to trust me, or
I need you to trust me.
One
last
you're
time.
Absolutely just like
love it.
Entirely like,
you're like,
you'll be like, if Tom Cruise was like, I want you to jump out of a plane and even if you do it without a parachute, you won't die.
Do you know?
I will catch you. I'll be like, okay, Tom Cruise.
Do you know why we know that sincerity works? Is because it is the evolution then of Benji throughout these films.
Yes.
Who slowly becomes more and more Ethan-like when he goes, we'll figure it out. We'll come up with the plan. Like he's trusted Ethan with his life so much. Their relationship has grown stronger and stronger. Luther's been there from the start. And we love Luther. Don't get me wrong. And Luther is the one who grounds Ethan and goes, remember why you're doing this. Whereas Benji is very much like, they love each other so much. Like the Luther, Benji, Ethan trio, is full of so much brotherly love, and it's incredible to watch.
And Benji was like, it's like Benji is very much like he starts off very much like an excitable like puppy dog.
Totally, yeah.
But then he kind of gets like very sobered when he realizes like just what Ethan goes through.
Totally.
So when we see
what they need to do to save the world.
So when we see Benji kind of like go, oh, this is outlandish.
Yes.
Like, I'm terrified, but also you need to trust me as well. And we saw it with like Ghost Protocol when he's talking to Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
And Jeremy Renner's like, I jump. And he's like, yeah, and I'll catch you. And Jeremy Renner's like, So I just jump and he's like, yes, and I'll catch you.
And I love it. It's so good.
Because Jeremy Renner is like Benji in the beginning being like, that's not going to work. And being like, no, it will. Trust me.
Yeah, he's like, this is not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
So, and then that overarching narrative and those overarching evolution of the characters, but then also the way they managed to tie in those previous films, the previous four that have come before it, so they don't feel redundant. So it doesn't feel like Christopher McQuarrie's come in and gone, this is now my Mission Impossible.
Like I'm not,
He is so, and this is probably more of a testament to, obviously a testament to Christopher McQuarrie's adoration of these films, but Tom Cruise's adoration of the character, and the protecting that sort of sanctity of like you said, he is the same Ethan Hunt despite the evolution of sort of narrative aspects of his character. The Ethan Hunt we see grow in from Mission Impossible 1, who grows into the person we know in Final Reckoning, and through these three films is very interesting storytelling.
And
because
that's
great.
Because you're
so cool.
Yeah, because like
you don't see that in action.
Because Mission Impossible. Like cocky little hotshot.
100%.
Mission Impossible 2, he's like
still a cocky.
Like, he's cocky, but he's like a lot more suave.
Cocky hotshot Bond man in Australia.
Yeah. Mission Impossible 3, he's like, I'm loved up.
Married
and
man.
like, but also like now my emotions are even like I'm so much more tethered to.
But again, it's that he cared about the Kerry Russell character so much that it forced him to come back. He couldn't say no to saving someone he cared about, which then put even more people at risk.
Yeah. And Ghost Protocol, he's like, I am in charge of this. Don't worry. I need to. I'll protect all of you.
Yep.
And then Rogue Nation,
Ilsa Faust.
Yeah. Who he doesn't
even
know.
know, but he sees himself in her so much. The dynamic between Tom Cruise and Rebecca Ferguson is so electric.
The very first time they interact,
they lock eyes.
Know.
Because I feel like they just see aspects of each other that no one else knows.
There's just like
there's this immediate spark.
There's just that little bit of a smirk and twinkle, and you're just like, okay. And we'll also just say that first sequence where they meet, and Tom Cruise, whose body defies explanation, just in terms of what he's able to do.
Yeah,
Not the fact that he's like, look, man is jacked. And we'll just say, Final Reckoning, okay.
Oh yeah, he gets his kid off a fair bit in Final Reckoning, actually.
But he is like, he's tied, his hands are tied behind a pole.
Yes, a tall pole.
A tall pole that doesn't hit the roof, where you're like, which is kind of...
You're like, how does this work? Yeah.
But like, the fact that he just basically like...
So he
planks midair
and just puts himself horizontal
and just
using
jumps.
his arms and core, and bunny hops with his arms up and over the pole, and then gets into a fight scene, and then discovers that Rebecca Ferguson can also hold her own.
Oh my God.
And they escape together.
Yeah.
And then she does her cheeky little Ilsa Faust, like, I'm in this for myself.
Well, yeah. Well, basically she says...
which is a fun character dynamic.
Where she's like, I'm letting you go, but I have to act as if you've gotten away from me.
Yeah.
And like and then he's like, but I can help you. And she's like, don't worry, I'll find you.
Yeah. It's fantastic. We should say as well, because we haven't said this yet, the Rotten Tomatoes score. On Rotten Tomatoes...
Should we preface what's happened?
I forgot to press record on the camera, and we went 20 minutes into this podcast before I went, did I press record on this camera? Do you know why? Because we were so stoked to start talking about Mission Impossible.
We really were.
And also, we're on a time crunch and we've got to get this done.
So like basically, Cliff Notes version, we've seen Final Reckoning.
You know this from the audio. You just haven't seen us talk about this yet.
The audio's
been recording the whole time. Audio's been recording the whole time. We're okay.
Okay. Well, in that case.
Just the video.
Oh, in that case. Nah, fuck it.
Just the video. Thank God.
I thought none of it had. Even though I'm literally looking at that now.
Recording,
fine, whatever. So for 20 minutes, there'll just be like pictures of...
It'll just be pictures of us.
Yeah.
It'll be as we go.
Yes. So good.
Over the whole thing. Rotten Tomatoes score for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Right.
87% for audience.
Ooh.
94 for the
critics.
Because this movie fucks.
It fucks
This
hard.
movie is baller.
Yeah.
Motorcycle chases, opera shootouts.
Oh, the motorcycle chase is fantastic.
It is so exciting.
And him being like disorientated after he does it.
So fucking good.
Plays into how good of a comedic actor Tom Cruise is.
There's a lot of Buster Keaton getting channeled into Ethan Hunt, and it works so well.
So well.
Then this incredible underwater action sequence where he has to swap over 2 key cards. It's just like... And then holding onto the airplane at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Like Rogue Nation
good.
is truly phenomenal.
It was my first 5-star.
It
Mission
was yours.
movie.
I think I gave it 4.5. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I truly do love it. But we went ad nauseum about how much we love Philip Seymour Hoffman as a villain.
Yes.
In these films.
Yeah.
Sean Harris. As the alleged supposed leader of the syndicate is so menacing. And this is the person who first brings up the idea or the narrative that the culmination of all of Ethan Hunt's decisions to save the people he loves by putting the world, when he puts the world at risk, is going to come and bite him in the ass. Sean Harris's character, which I will quickly get up now. Apologies for that. Where is he? Where's Shawnee Sean? There he is. Solomon Lane. How can I forget? Solomon Lane. We've watched a lot of Mission movies over the last few weeks. Yeah. Solomon Lane, who it's revealed that he's ex-MI6, so this is how he knows all these ins and outs of the secret agencies and stuff. But he weaponizes that flaw of Ethan Hunt so well, to the point where Benji's not safe, Luther's not safe, and now Ilsa Faust is not safe either. But we also have this like fun B story with Jeremy Renner and Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, who was a fantastic addition to this franchise.
Look, I know that a lot of people have their issues with Alec Baldwin. There's all the shit with Rust.
Yes.
There's the stuff that his wife talks in a weird accent, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Alec Baldwin is a fantastic actor.
Brilliant.
Like
a brilliant, fast-talking man of authority.
And he gets to lean into his like comedic sense.
Yes, big time.
Because what he does in Rogue Nation is fantastic.
It's predominantly him and Jeremy Renner in a Senate hearing, like a private Senate hearing.
And like a private Senate hearing
where he's just like, the IMF sounds like a made up fucking, like, he's like, you saying we have a thing called the Impossible Mission Force. And Jeremy Renner's like, I can neither confirm or deny. Like, it's great. It's so witty and fun.
And the one of the greatest things that Rogue Nation will do is when we get a classic face mask reveal.
Love the face mask reveal.
And it zooms in on Alec Baldwin and all he does is just go, like
so
it's
good.
So good because it's like the film is like, we're aware that this is ridiculous. Like, let's just have fun.
We're gonna eat it the fuck up.
But you like those mask effects are fantastic.
So good.
I buy it every single time. Every single time. Like Final Reckoning.
There's a great one. There is a brilliant one.
I think everyone in it, like, I know that. Well, at least you and me were both like,
we're like,
what? Was not expecting. Like, every time someone pulls a mask, I'm just like, how did I not see it?
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so damn good. So it's like, I think McQuarrie understands, and Cruise obviously respects it enough as well to be like, we're going to be sincere with this, but we're also going to have a lot of fun.
It's like
fun at how crazy it is.
Yeah, it's like they understand. They understand the emotional depth. They understand the action intensity, but they understand the campiness of what this is.
They balance it so well, and that's why these movies are so entertaining. Because for every time Tom Cruise goes like,
like
we get a scene of him on the side of a fucking airplane. We get an insane motorcycle chase. The fight scene at the opera, or just the build up to the potential assassination, is white knuckle. Like I've seen this movie probably 5 or 6 times. Every time I'm like this, and I know what happens. It's so well done, but it's also where Mission Impossible 2 went for the suaveness. This movie's actually sexy. Everyone, and we were talking about this last night after Final Reckoning. Everyone in Mission Impossible is hot.
It is.
Benji gets, like, no discredit to Simon Pegg, not a great looking guy in 3,
but he gets
fucking hot. But like Final Reckoning,
every character, and like, this is something I said this a lot during Final Reckoning.
There's some hot people in Final Reckoning.
Everybody in the Mission Impossible, like, you look back, you got Tom Cruise in any of these movies, handsome as fuck.
Okay, let's quick side note. What's the sexiest haircut? Because he has some different haircuts in this one. I love
the luscious locks of 2 are pretty great.
I get the luscious locks of 2.
And John Woo lights him
it, yeah.
like he's the most...
Like he's an angel almost, right? Like
there is one shot
literally.
where Tom... And I'm just like... Okay.
We are. Whoa.
What else?
I'm a Mission Impossible 3 haircut. I like the slight, short, scraggly look. But then, and he does it as well in Fallout. There's something about Mission Impossible 3 and the Fallout haircuts. But then when it's grown out a little bit in Dead Reckoning, and I'm like,
it's all right.
Tom Cruise is hot. Everyone in Mission Impossible is hot.
But yeah,
this is some of the hottest casts of all time, and they're all out here kicking ass and being coy and having fun.
But you just look at it like Kristen Scott Thomas, stunning. Emmanuel Bett,
stunning.
Emilio Estevez, hot. Number 2, Tandaway Newton.
I noticed you didn't say John Voight.
Well, no, I'm not saying John Voight's hot, and also John Voight as a person doesn't, But Tandaway Newton.
Yeah, she's stunning.
Jill Grace Scott.
Yeah,
pretty hot.
Mission
Impossible 3. Michelle Monaghan. Stunning. Kerry Russell.
Stunning.
Maggie fucking Q.
Stunning. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. Stunning. Benji, he gets there.
Mission Impossible 4. Josh Holloway.
Yep.
Paula Patton.
Hot.
Leia Seydoux.
Hot.
Jeremy Renner. Rogue Nation. Rebecca Ferguson.
Incredible. Stunning.
Alec Baldwin's hot.
Hey, they make him look hot.
They make him look hot.
And then we'll skip ahead. Fallout.
Henry Cavill.
Angela Bassett.
Vanessa
fucking Kirby. Oh my God.
Then final Dead Reckoning. Haley Atwell. Oh my God.
This is
Pom Clementieff.
Oh
Greg Tarzan Davis.
Shout out to my boy Shay Wickham.
And then Final Reckoning, everybody on the fucking submarine.
Hannah Waddingham, Tremel Tillman. Like, there is everyone
Nick
is
Offerman.
just... Nick Offerman pops up.
So great. Henry Cersei. Stop.
So many.
Stop.
So when I'm not jaw dropped by incredible stunts death-defying stunts being performed by Tom Cruise, my jaw is dropped at how hot this
everybody
cast
is.
Mission Impossible may be one of the hottest, consistently hottest
I look at this and the Fast and Furious movies.
They're all sexy.
They're all sexy.
They're all sexy people.
My God.
We're eating good.
We are.
Mission Impossible films.
I'll tell you, and one person who's eating really good, Tom Cruise, because the man is jacked.
Man's jacked. He's eating very well. Very
so well.
Very well. But in saying that, even aesthetically, this is just like a real sexy spy film.
Yeah,
right?
because naturally it's let's just go to every bloody gorgeous location across the world.
And the way McQuarrie shoots the action is so dynamic and so much fun. It has a great villain, Rogue Nation.
Well, yeah, Rogue Nation.
So good.
Rogue Nation, because the Mission Impossible movies, the villains have always probably been
hit or miss.
Yeah. Number 1, John Voight. John Voight's a good villain.
A good reveal.
It's a good reveal. Number 2,
Grace Scott.
Yeah. Mission Impossible 3, top.
Arguably the best one.
4 let me down.
Yep.
Because he's just not developed enough. Even though what he's doing and his mentality is crazy.
Yep.
He's just not developed enough. 5 and 6,
Solomon,
Rogue Nation, Fallout, Solomon Lang is so
good. And Sean Harris. He is one of my favorite actors.
Sean Harris is
underrated. Not underrated, just not as well known.
His cadence when he speaks is so terrifying.
Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
That was more Davian. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna hurt her.
Sean Harris.
There's no way to describe it.
Sean Harris is more
and it gets under your skin.
Yes.
And it gets under Ethan's skin. And because we love Tom Cruise's sincerity as Ethan, we feel that. These movies fucking rock.
Yeah.
Let's go to, Rogue Nation's great. Let's go to Fallout.
Fallout. Arguably.
Are you going to say what I think you're going to say? And am I going to agree with it?
The peak of...
Is this the best Mission Impossible film?
Yeah, I think so.
It's the best
Mission Impossible movie.
I remember,
and how you get 6 movies in and go now
we're finding our stride in a
and you're
very confident way.
So what have you been doing before?
And
we've made great movies.
Why
but we're
are the
keep...
5 beforehand -1 also fucking bangers?
Yeah.
And how is this about
insane?
I remember watching this in the cinema,
right?
And I walked out and I felt in a good way overwhelmed.
Yeah,
because I literally walked out going I think I've just seen one of my favorite action movies of all time.
Yeah.
Seeing the helicopter chase in the cinema was for me. I'm getting weirdly emotional thinking about it. I was like, this is why I love movies.
Yeah.
Because it is so over the top, but it is so immersive. And we have to thank Tom and McHugh for what they were able to pull off in this film.
And we will also say, if you're someone, and if you follow us and watch us, I imagine you're people that own physical media. If you own Fallout, and maybe it's something that you didn't quite notice.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about this.
We'll also say, watching this on disc,
yes,
this transfer is
4K transfer is incredible.
It is one of the most beautiful looking films.
It's stunning.
But the end helicopter sequence,
and the Halo jump,
and because they were filmed for IMAX, certain shots fill up your entire TV screen.
So where you would traditionally see most movies in the letterbox format, and this is another thing I love about this, is it doesn't just Michael Bay hard cut to it. When you are going into the IMAX shot and it's transitioning from Ethan Hunt running to jumping onto the payload on the helicopter, it slowly expands. And I sat there watching it, just this rewatch, and I was like, I love movies.
Yeah.
I love movies, and I love what Tom Cruise is doing with films, because Mission Impossible Fallout isn't just an incredible action film.
It's just a great movie.
It is a great movie. Oh, the fact that, it's teased at the end of Rogue Nation that Alec Baldwin's character, who is the CIA at that point, comes around to the idea of the IMF and is now
the head of IMF.
He's now Mr. IMF himself. Before we gush on too much, 88% audience score.
Yep.
98% for the audience, for the critics.
You know what?
442 reviews.
When we keep hearing about critics getting shit wrong.
The cultural divide, right?
No, sometimes we don't. 98% is, would we like that to be 100%?
Absolutely.
But 98% is absolutely fair. And audiences, 88% is not bad.
Yeah.
But it's pretty rare that
to me
it's
is in
less.
contention with John Wick Chapter 4 as one of the best action films of all time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people fight me on the John Wick 4 of it, but I think that movie is just epic in every scale.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Greek tragedy on film, whereas this is like, and people responded to it. $180 million budget, made $791 million worldwide. And again, like we said, it's because it's a great movie. The espionage and the betrayal that goes on in this movie, this quest that Ethan has to go on, and the characters he meets along the way, like we get the White Widow with Vanessa Kirby's character,
which I remember watching. Like, I don't know if when it's mentioned, but like watching it, I was like, oh god, she reminds me of Vanessa Redgrave, and then it's the fact that that's her mother.
The Vanessa Redgrave is the mother of Vanessa Kirby in the film. In the series.
The casting is perfect.
So good.
Because when you know Vanessa Redgrave, and she's got like this icy stare and the particular voice, and Vanessa Kirby, you're just like, how is
emulates
this?
It so well.
And Vanessa Kirby is beautiful.
See previous conversation about hot people.
But like, she's a fantastic actress.
Oh fuck yeah.
And then very excited to see what she does as Sue Storm.
Yes, very excited.
And also, if you haven't seen Pieces of a Woman, she's incredible. Not an easy movie, but
enigmatic and elusive in this film. I'm so seduced by her.
And she does
Ethan.
And she does the same thing that that you kind of see with Vanessa, with Rebecca Ferguson, and you see with Hayley Atwell, when Vanessa Kirby is like talking to him, she's got this smirk. She's just like basically looking at him, being like, "Who are you?"
It's almost like a match met.
Yeah,
she's like, it's that understanding, like they're both in these extreme professions, and like, no one else gets me.
Kills people like right in front of her, and she's just like, and she just immediately goes, I think I'll go along with you. Because also, she's under the impression that he's like a different person.
Yeah, John Mark.
She thinks he's like an assassin.
Yes.
Which he kind of is.
He kind of is, yeah. He's playing the part very well. But she's incredible. We'll talk about the scene that precedes that after we introduce our next two characters, which obviously Angela Bassett and Henry Cavill.
Angela Bassett.
The head of the CIA and then a CIA agent working for her. who is pretty much trying to track down this John Lark character who is essential in getting the syndicate nuclear codes, I believe, or at least a nuclear substance that's going to help them destroy the world.
And the film,
we're going to go back and all around this film because then I just remembered the incredible Wolf Blitzer scene where they managed to get a manifesto out of the syndicate guy they kidnapped. Oh my God.
Like, the way that it's played is like how Angela Bassett and Henry Cavill, as far as we know, guys are on the right side of justice, I guess.
Well, yeah.
And we hear like this whole thing of John Lark, like no one knows who John Lark is.
Yep.
So when the conversations are had and Angela Bassett and Henry Cavill are both like, how do we know that Ethan Hunt hasn't been John Lark the entire time?
Exactly.
And when they put something like that out there, even though we have spent at this point, 5 films with Ethan and we trust him implicitly.
We go, what?
When you have that conversation and you put that out there, you're like, maybe he is.
Because then you start thinking about it, like, he does risk the safety of the world a lot.
And he does seem very confident that he's going to get away with it.
Yes. So it's like the little seed of doubt that's planted in your mind creates so much brilliant tension.
And like that's...
And is a great misdirect for the actual reveal.
And yeah. Oh yeah. But that's also... But that just goes to show you like the care and intricacy that has gone into crafting these stories, where a character that we should have zero doubts about, we start going, maybe he is. But at the same time, we'd be like, if he is, cool. I'm still on board with him.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Have we been following a villain this entire time?
And would they fuck us over
they
like that?
actually
Like, are we going to get mad?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, they don't.
They don't.
And the reveal of who John Lark is, spoiler alert, Henry Cavill. Great reveal.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And the way it's revealed is so fucking good.
So good.
Because then we get a face mask reveal out of it. Benji's been recording the whole fucking time, pretending to be Solomon Lane. It's brilliant.
And then Alec Baldwin kind of swoops in and is kind of just like, I got, like, he doesn't do I gotcha, but he
does like that. Hey.
But because Alec Baldwin, like we know, like the previous film, he was so doubtful and anti-IMF. So now the fact that he's and then he kind of is like, oh, I'm part of the team. He's like, so like happy.
This. Yeah. And he's fucking brilliant.
He's so good.
But I mean, and then like the other face mask reveal when they do the interrogation earlier on, I remember when I watched it the first time in the cinema, I remember turning to Rand and going like, Ethan Hunt is uncharacteristically angry at this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm worried. I was like, what does this mean? Yeah. And then I got face reveal and I was like, God, damn it.
There's like very few times when you pick that it's a face reveal.
Because I'm so invested. Yeah. I'm so invested.
But well, look, we will just say there is a scene with our man Henry Cavill.
Yes. Well, I mean, can we just say as well, the Halo jump before that.
Halo jump.
Incredible.
Which
people have seen, people know about.
And
which is actually done.
And yeah, that's the thing.
That's a real Halo jump.
These are people jumping out of planes.
This is Tom Cruise jumping out of planes.
But
shit.
There's a bathroom action sequence.
The fight scene in the bathroom with who they think is John Lark.
This may be
one of the best choreographed fights.
Yeah, this is probably in the top of this series.
Oh, big time. Yeah, for sure. This movie has so many of those
but
moments.
As a sequence just in the realms of action cinema,
hand-to-hand combat scene.
Fight scene is top 10.
Outstanding. It's truly outstanding.
I'd have to sort of really go back and
so many iconic moments we get. We'll save the most iconic for last, but we get it starts in the stall, which
I
is
love,
great.
and I love that this look. So when I was like, and again, this is probably the gay thing coming out.
Oh right, when they're trying to scan his face.
But when a bunch of men are in a bathroom stall, and we're in a European nightclub,
assumptions can be made.
Assumptions are made.
If you come in from outside, as 4 Frenchmen
do, and basically go, oh, we assume people are fucking in there.
We think you are making love in there.
So
that was German. That was so shit.
So they kind of, try to tease them
They're
out.
teasing them, and then they all
Tom
go
Cruise
out singing Sailor V, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, so I was like,
all right,
so
fellas.
I think, do you boys want to go into a store together?
Hey, shit.
So then
is
Tom Cruise
friends.
and Henry Cavill are just not having any of it.
No.
And a part of me was like, are these guys just going to get the shit beaten out
Oh, I
of
was
them?
like,
Because
yeah,
Henry
is this gonna be a
Cavill,
hate
Henry
crime?
Cavill is like an aggressive man.
Oh, very, yeah.
And
yeah,
also,
very aggressive.
he's like 6'4"
and about 250 pounds. He's a burly fella.
He's a big beefy boy.
He's a big, beefy fucking boy.
And if you wanted to know, that was not words. If you want to know why Henry Cavill's face in the
Justice
Whedon Justice League
Justice League
looks weird, is because in Fallout he has a majestic mustache.
Great way to describe it.
And he had to do
Reshoots.
So he finished filming Justice League.
Yeah.
Went to do Fallout, and then we know that all of the fuckery with Justice League, he had to go back and do reshoots. And they were like, oh,
they being Paramount Pictures.
And he hadn't finished filming Fallout.
No.
So Warner Brothers were like, well, you're Superman, you need to shave your mustache. And he was like,
I'm under contract.
Fuck I do. I'm under contract with Paramount.
And Paramount's like, no.
So Paramount and they were like, no, you're keeping your mustache. Henry Cavill was like, hell yeah, I'm keeping my mustache because I'm working with Tom Cruise in an action movie. So
the funny thing
Warner
is,
Brothers,
it's so much easier to make a moustache than CGI one out.
So figure it out. So
I'm all about it.
They CG it out, and it's fucking weird.
It looks terrible. It looks bad.
Moral of the story: Henry Cavill with a mustache is better. And watch the Zack Snyder Justice League.
Also, imagine. I would love to know what it looks like, Superman with a mustache. I'm just curious now.
I mean, I think everybody would have been into it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, because Henry Cavill.
Because it's Henry fucking Cavill.
Henry Cavill and a mustache?
So,
fuck me.
They start the fight scene in the stall. We get people getting thrown through mirrors, sinks getting smashed, sharp pipes being in like millimeters away from throats. And as that's happening, Henry Cavill goes like, fuck it. I'm going to cock my arms like they're guns.
At this point, Henry Cavill has kind of been like, he's kind of been holding back a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Like a little bit. And then he just goes, all right. And he literally reloads his arms.
And then
obviously,
beats the shit out of John Locke.
And I was very fortunate to speak to McHugh.
Oh, yes, you were. Yes, yeah.
And I asked him about the arm moment.
Course,
because there's this weird thing on the internet where he loads them and people think that it was CGI because just through trick of the light.
Oh, right. Yeah.
When he cocks his arms, it looks like his pocket square appears on his shirt.
Oh, and then goes away,
right. It looks
right.
like his mustache gets darker. So everyone thought it was like one shot and then another shot, which is weird.
That doesn't make sense. Also, people spend too much time on the internet.
Yeah.
Something that Final Reckoning actually brings up, which is quite hilarious.
But I was like, look, I'm not going to pass up the chance to talk about this internet moment and also to just talk about Henry Cavill. And McQuarrie is like, no, pure trick of the light. I can confirm it is Henry Cavill's arms. And we're like, we knew this, but thank you for confirming.
Thank you, sir.
And like I've seen the gif of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it does kind of look like it.
I get it. Also, we watched the movie in 4K. I'm like, there's no CGI trickery there.
But it's
Henry
just an
Cavill, iconic moment.
Henry Cavill don't need it.
And that fight scene is all time. It's brilliant, which then so quickly leads into then the White Widow introduction and then the action scene that takes place there as well.
Yeah.
But this movie is so exciting and thrilling because, like you said, that little nugget that's planted into the head, like, is Ethan evil?
Yeah.
Is there until the reveal. Then it's such a satisfying reveal when
because it's also like
when Henry Cavill gets betrayed.
Henry Cavill reveals himself as the villain. He gets betrayed
because he's a syndicate disciple, I guess.
And we then have a sigh of relief of like Ethan's not evil, yay! But then it's like,
then the full power of the syndicate is kind of realized.
Yeah.
When then they get double crossed. Their double cross gets double crossed. It's quadruple crossed.
So then it's like, well, how are we going to like end this? Naturally, there's nuclear bombs.
Of course, because the syndicate, just to be fuckwits, are going to blow up a like UNICEF makeshift hospital in a third world country.
But then it's also like
fucking idiots.
But
they were
at a UNICEF
they
thing,
were doing. The reason they were using
that particular site.
That particular site, but also that particular bomb was because I think it was traceable back to like the US government or something. Yeah. So they were like, why would the US government bomb this unit? It's the syndicate are all anarchists.
Yeah.
Chaotic anarchists. But there's another reason.
I do like when it's like, why UNICEF? Who works at UNICEF? Doctors. Who do we know as a doctor? Julia. Surely.
Who's Julia?
Surely not.
Ethan Hunt's ex-wife.
And we get...
Not by choice, but also by a choice.
And we get Michelle Monaghan popping back up. Who
Again.
It's the lovely...
Who, by the way...
It's the loveliest thing to see her.
It's lovely to see her, but also in the years that's passed since 2006, still stunning.
So stunning.
Also married to Wes Bentley now.
Married to Wes Bentley.
Who you want to be like, you're not Ethan Hunt, you'll never replace Ethan Hunt.
You're
such a nice fucking guy.
Which is funny because, so quick little sidebar.
Yeah, please.
So in 2006 or 7, Wes Bentley made a movie called P2.
Yes.
With Rachel Nichols.
The Christmas movie.
Underrated Christmas horror movie. I put out a tweet just saying how underrated I thought the movie was, and I thought Rachel Nichols was so great in it. Rachel Nichols responded and was basically like, yeah, I have many, many stories about making this film. And then as I found out, and look, it's possible that Wes Bentley has completely rehabilitated himself.
Tom Cruised himself, some would say, rebranded and rehabilitated.
But he was like on a copious amount of cocaine during P2, and I don't think was the easiest person to work with.
I think a lot has changed. I think it is actually quite documented his substance abuse problems. Yeah. And I believe he is rehabilitated now because he's obviously working a fair bit now.
And Dead Reckoning, Fallout. Fallout. Lovely little man. You just go and you just look at him and just go, oh, you know what, Julia? If you can't be with Ethan, I'm okay that you're okay with being with Wes. Do you also quickly, because Ethan introduces himself, or Julia makes sure that he doesn't know that it's Ethan. Do you think that by the end of it, he actually knew?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Because when she runs off, he's kind of like, oh, I get it. And then she goes to Luther, which is a beautiful, touching moment.
The Luther-Julia moment.
We love, as stated in previous episode, we love Ving Rhames. We love Luther.
But then you get that sense of like, Julia was in Ethan's life.
Yes.
And so she was fortunate enough to sort of meet Benji and meet Luther.
Yes.
And the fact that Luther you can see how much Luther loves her.
Yeah.
And the fact that
he loves her because she truly loved Ethan for who he was, which is why Luther loves Ethan too. And it's beautiful.
They sort of sit down together because they have to disarm one of the bombs.
Yes.
And the other one is
in the cabin where
Solomon is there.
Solomon's there.
And Rebecca Ferguson is like, well, I'm going to go after you.
Yeah.
And then while this is happening, there's an epic helicopter chase happening.
Oh my God.
But there's a really beautiful little moment where Julia sits down with Luther to help him. Yeah. And Luther's kind of like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Basically like, don't tell me to leave.
Yeah.
I'm helping you. And she's always trying to basically be like, what do I need to cut? What do I need to do? Blah, blah, blah. And they're all on comms.
Yeah.
So Ilsa, who we see kind of Julia and Ilsa like clock each other.
Yeah.
But in a way of like Ilsa being like, oh, that's Julia.
Yeah.
Like, I get it.
Yeah.
And Julia looking at Ilsa like, oh, like, I understand as well. Because by Fallout, Ilsa and Ethan, it's getting romantic.
It's very much so getting romantic. Yep.
But yeah, there was just a moment where she's trying to figure everything out to help Luther. And she's like pointing all the different things out. And Ilsa is like overhearing it.
Yeah.
And I like that. And Ilsa basically says like, oh, I like her so much because she's, and it's just this, and it just brings in like the familial aspect of the fact that these people like, we watch them and they feel like family to us.
Exactly. But that's another testament
to the chemistry shared amongst them is
that's
like
another
next
testament
level.
To the authenticity and the sincerity that they all play these characters with in such a heightened environment.
Yeah, that you believe these people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're also never quite sure. Like who's actually going to make it out of these films either.
Because why the
we know
stakes
that
feel real.
Yeah,
People can die in these movies.
Because Benji and Ilsa get very close in this movie.
Very close
in
to
Fallout.
Dying. Yeah.
And there are times when you're like,
so tense. Like it might happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, we love a countdown to a 1 second bomb going off, but you feel it. But because you are so jacked up on adrenaline from the helicopter chase, which, if you do not know, Tom Cruise is in the helicopter doing a death spiral.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's insane. Brutal death at the end of the film.
Watching this,
John Lark get killed.
Watching this in high def.
Oh, you see it all.
I was like, it was something that I didn't really pick up in the cinema.
Right.
The actual the detail, detail when he gets the oil burned on him.
Yeah.
He's got
the makeup
a little bit of almost like holes in his face.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
It's pretty intense.
Henry Cavill gets a very brutal death.
Yes.
And it was so hilarious how everyone was like, like he'll come back for the next one. I'm like, no, his head is fully
no, that dude's dead.
He's like dead.
That dude is dead.
Yeah.
Which it's just such an exciting finale, which goes for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Rogue Nation and Fallout are incredibly well-paced films.
Yes.
Dead Reckoning, I think, is also well-paced. Despite
considering its length.
Considering how convoluted it does get.
Yeah.
But these two, Rogue Nation and Fallout, are just perfectly paced action films and so damn exciting. And then Ethan Hunt saves the day. And he gets to see Julia one more time, one last time.
And I like that because obviously with Fallout, we didn't know that more films were coming.
No, exactly.
Fallout does feel very final.
It does.
Because it's almost like, well, this was the last mission because the president was involved and her man betrayed everybody and, Julia has gone off into the sunset with her person and Benji lives and Luther lives and maybe Ethan will live happily ever after with Ilsa. Unfortunately, Alec Baldwin is a casualty in this film.
Yes.
And that was really,
after his little
really
victory.
sad.
It was very sad and it was very shocking.
Yeah.
But the majority of the team get to continue on to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Originally released as Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yes, because I think the final Reckoning was supposed to be Dead Reckoning Part 2. A lot of strikes and delays and stuff. Obviously, I think they rejigged it a fair bit.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is getting on in age. He's 63 now, I believe.
Yeah, he celebrated his 61st birthday at the Sydney
So he would be
premiere.
63 this year.
So I basically celebrated.
I believe he'll do stuff. You
I
were there.
I
You were at
celebrated his
party.
birthday. I was at his
You were
birthday
at Tom
party.
Cruise's birthday party.
Insane.
I believe he will do stunts till he's 100.
I think so.
Whether they are at the intensity of what they are now.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen. But then, so obviously, not long after Fallout and the success, they announced that there is a 2-parter coming out, Dead Reckoning Part 1 and 2, which obviously now is rejigged to Dead Reckoning and the Final Reckoning.
Yeah.
But I was excited. I was so in. 2023. So we got a decent gap, 5 years again between films.
Yeah.
Between Fallout, but obviously COVID happened in that point.
COVID did. I wonder if we would have gotten it earlier.
I think we were supposed to get it in 2021, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
But obviously COVID delayed it a fair bit. They were one of the first productions to come back.
That's right.
And Jackass Forever, some of the first movies to come back from COVID,
and
which is incredible. Because we have the audio that came out of Tom being studios are calling me every night asking us how we are back in production.
Yeah.
He is helping bring movies back. I love listening to that audio because it just fires me up about cinema and it makes me realize that there's absolute fuckwits in the world who don't care about other people.
And it was the reason, if you watched the last episode, is the reason why I high-fived Tom Cruise because I was like...
Because he loves the movies.
You love cinema.
God damn it, he loves the films.
Yeah, he really does. He loves the pictures.
He loves the pictures. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. 94% audience score, 96% critic score. I think the most...
I thought it was lower. I'm very happy it's 96.
So it's one of those interesting ones where when it came out, people were because it is until the Final Reckoning in this scheme of the 7 films to talk about is the longest Mission Impossible film at 2 hours and 43 minutes.
Yeah.
And now overtaken by the Final Reckoning, which is 2 hours 50. It's only 7 minutes longer.
But
this is a big bitch of a movie.
And also, I'm going to say
got
this,
a lot going on.
So I remember when it was announced that this was like, 163 minutes, which sounds like so much. I remember being like, "Oof, that's
long.
That's a lot." And I was very fortunate to see this.
You saw it very
early. I was flown to. It was very nice. Flown to Sydney for this.
That's right. Yeah.
To interview. At that point, I had got sit-down interviews with Christopher McQuarrie, Hayley Atwell, Simon Pegg, Pom Clementif, and I was like, "This is great."
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, in my mind, was like, maybe I'll see him at the red carpet, not thinking like I'll actually get
to talk to him. Yeah.
But I saw this, and I just remember thinking, I walked out of that screening, and I was like, that was the quickest.
Yeah.
2 hours 43.
Yeah.
Like that movie does not remotely feel long.
Dead Reckoning does not stop.
No.
It starts and then it throttles its way to the end.
Immediately hooks you with the submarine sequence and the fact that you're like, AI is the enemy. And you're
AI caused the submarine to blow itself up.
And you're like, in 2023, like AI
when
was obviously a thing, but like AI was never as what it is now.
And not just AI, but one they call the anti-God, one they call the entity, an AI that considers itself God.
Yeah. So
scary.
It's very, very funny that like Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie
made AI
who are so like, we are against streaming, we are for cinema, see the movies in the cinemas. Well, and
the idea that it takes a village of people to make these movies,
and they've just gone fuck AI,
man.
And like I get some of the benefits of AI.
Oh god, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But when AI is being made, when like I see like scenes of movies, and it's like, can you believe that these people are made from AI? And you're like, yes, you can.
I can.
None of them look real.
This doesn't feel cool. It doesn't feel real and authentic.
It's fantastic that they've just basically been like, AI is the enemy,
the bad guy,
and we're like, yeah, it really is.
It really fucking is.
But yeah, this movie just is non-stop.
Yeah,
and we'll say there's a very there's two massive set pieces.
Huge set pieces.
One in Rome, and another
a brilliant car chase.
On the is it the Alp? The Austrian?
It must be, yeah. But it's a train,
like the Orient Express,
basically. Like it's a fantastic train sequence.
But Rome, I love. Like Rome just seems to be one of those places in action movies where they just go, we'll just do car chases around Rome,
and it works.
But this Rome car chase is
awesome,
fucking insane,
because it's a car chase and then it turns into a shootout and then it turns into another car chase.
Yeah, and a car chase
in the space of like 30 minutes.
And a car chase when you think like, like how it's like, oh, we'll get into like a cool vehicle, and then they just subvert it. And bring in this really funny bit of comedy.
This 2-seater mini.
It's good. So good. With a whole lot of like...
With Hayley Atwell and Tom Cruise handcuffed to each other.
With a lot of suggestiveness as to the car not starting, kind of being play on premature...
erectile dysfunction.
It's so funny.
Potentially.
It's so good.
Can't get it going. But those two action scenes are incredible. And the train action scene.
The train sequence at the end. Like I've seen this film. I saw this twice in the cinemas.
Yeah, I saw it twice in the cinemas. What did I say 3 times? No, sorry, twice in the cinemas.
Yeah, I saw it twice in the cinemas. I've seen it. Yeah. I saw it at the Sydney screening for me, and then like the next night I saw it like at the actual premiere with all the actors there.
Yeah.
But both times, like the first time you watch this action sequence, you're just like,
this is so much going on.
This is insane. But like watching it again for the lead up to Final Reckoning.
Yeah.
I was just like,
this is truly
one of the best action sequences, because it's just like when you think it's going to end, or like surely they won't do that, or like how can you possibly top, going from that carriage to that, it's fun
because it's like going through a whole lot of different worlds and stuff.
Yeah, and it's almost just like
a new carriage presents a new danger, right?
It's like
boiling oil or
it's
a
like
piano.
An escape room each time.
It's so fucking good. And then the car chase is just so dynamic and fun and electric. And then you get like the addition of Pom Klementieff, who is this like psychotic assassin.
When I spoke to her, I was just like, I said, the amount of glee that you have in just like, I said, there's one shot where she's
causing chaos,
where she's driving her fucking giant van. And she's just like laughing and smiling. And I said to her, I was just like, I don't know if I should have like liked that as much as I did. But I was like, but you were having the best time and I just have to like, and she's like, like you just get to be aggressive on screen.
Insane,
it's the greatest
right?
thing.
It's
I was
fun.
like, I would love you hear people say playing the villain is so much fun.
Oh,
because you get to just do all the things that you can't do.
But this movie also introduces Hayley Atwell as the pickpocket.
In one of
latest,
her introduction is fantastic.
As they're trying to find this key for that's going to open the safe that's going to kill this AI entity, right?
Yeah.
So like they're the immediate chemistry between Ethan Hunt
as soon as
and
they
Grace.
look at each other and he looks at her and she kind of, it's just like, okay, like their chemistry is
she's incredibly
phenomenal.
Seductive. Yeah,
and Hayley Atwell, like I love my interview with her. I am like,
she just seems like the loveliest.
She is the loveliest person. She's so delightful.
So great. And it's because again, like while she's not necessarily like a trained assassin like the rest of the crew or a fighter, her ability to pickpocket and maneuver and stuff is just so because that whole scene in the airport at the beginning when Benji's trying to defuse a nuclear bomb in an airport.
That scene breaks my heart.
Yeah, I know.
When he's like, "What is the most important to you?"
Yeah, he's like, "My friend."
And he's like, "My friend." Like it's because you just go, Benji, and you just go, Benji.
You are the best of us.
Like Benji loves this so much.
Benji's the best of us.
He's so pure.
He's so pure. And I love how they connect that to the AI learning about the human behavior and stuff.
Because he's like,
incredible.
you have to answer the question. He's like, if I answer the questions, the AI knows more and the AI wins. And it's like, the only way for us to beat it is for it to get as smart as possible.
Exactly.
It's so, and like this, then this plays into the final reckoning where they're just like, we have to basically let it get what it wants trick it like last minute.
It's so good. Oh. It's so good. So
like the thing that you said about Hayley Atwell, like Grace.
Yes.
She like in her world, she's like top dog.
Yeah. 100%.
Nothing can touch me because I'm the best pickpocket.
Yeah.
So I really like that. As confident as she is, when shit hits the fan, you see her genuinely just be like, she's terrified.
I am in too deep.
Like
she absolutely is aware that she is.
And they've just gone, the only way for you to survive this is to join us. And she's like, but I won't have a life. And it's like, well, you will.
Yeah,
but like your life is this. But it's like, but if you say no, it's like, it doesn't matter how great you think you are. You will literally die within like hours.
You will not survive. Yeah. And it's like forcing you to join the IMF, but it's like, it's one of the coolest options you could have. So not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then we get a new villain. Solomon Lane is basically captured now as part of the syndicate. Yes. They have to try and break him out as well, which is, because the entity says so, and the entity is voiced in a real life. What's the word? It was in my head. Now it's gone. The AI presents itself through a person. It's like this is the vessel. Which is Esai Morales.
Yes,
who plays Gabriel.
He's like essentially a
proxy. He's like a human.
I was going to say he's an avatar for it.
Avatar is exactly the word I was looking for. When we speak about hit or miss villains, Gabriel sits right in the middle for me.
Yeah, he's
not bad.
He's not bad.
Esai Morales has a lot of charisma.
Esai Morales is a great actor, and he is better than how Gabriel is written.
I agree, 100%. But Gabriel is exactly that. He is an avatar. He is a vessel. In the final reckoning, there's a bit more conflict because he basically in Dead Reckoning, he is like, the entity knows all. It is written as the entity does. The entity is going to give me the power to rule the world like under its command, and I will take that.
Yeah,
like he's just a guy who wants power.
Like I'm happy.
There's
to take
a little
that.
bit more independence in the final reckoning. I guess he has a little bit more detachment from that.
Yeah.
He's trying to outsmart the AI for power as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said it perfectly. S.I. Morales is a far better performer than Gabriel is written.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a sudden shock to go from someone like Solomon Lane to Gabriel.
Yeah.
But like the entity is the villain.
Yeah, and I think
that's the thing at the end of the day.
And I think the entity, and they make the entity like terrifying.
Yes,
because of how we see it like manipulate
everything.
And that when it's pretending to be Benji.
Oh my god! Yeah,
and it's diverting.
Turn left, and it's
diverting Ethan.
It's diverting Ethan,
which leads to
him
one of the most emotional,
heartbreaking deaths in the
series. Yeah,
Ilsa Faust is killed.
It was not someone I thought was gonna succumb,
but it was written as the entity said it would.
And you know what? She goes down fighting.
No.
And it's
kicking ass, taking names,
and it's like, because we see one of the sequences where it's like Ezra Morales.
It was shocking. It was truly shocking.
Yeah, like we see Ezra Morales, Vanessa Kirby, Rebecca Ferguson, Haley Atwell, Tom Cruise. They're all sort of in this nightclub, and
basically being like Ethan Hunt needs to do this,
and the entity is like
there
is like overseeing the nightclub.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
And he basically says
that sound.
And basically, Ezra Morales, Gabriel is like, this is what is going to happen.
Yeah.
And he's like, one of you, like Grace, Ilsa, he's like, one of you will live and one of you will die. And basically it's like, I'm not making this choice.
No, the entity
will.
Well, no, actually, no. Ethan Hunt will make the decision. Yeah, right?
Yeah. But Ethan Hunt's decision is manipulated by the AI. So the entity is very much like, no, I want you to die.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be directly responsible for it.
But what Ethan keeps bringing up throughout the film is that he's like, the entity can't predict everything he does.
Yeah.
Because the entity will be like, Ethan Hunt's a renegade, but he will do this, and this. And then Ethan Hunt's like always trying to be one step ahead of them, which is a pain in the ass for the government and the military and the IMF and the CIA.
Which we very much see in the final reckoning. Where he's like, we'll do everything the entity wants me to do, but the thing that the entity then thinks I'll do, I actually won't do it, and I'll do the thing that the entity kind of is like,
he won't do that.
Is the end game, but I'll just beat him to it and kind of fuck with his equilibrium, essentially.
It's so insane. And I understand the criticisms of the fact that Dead Reckoning, and as you will see now with the reviews of Final Reckoning coming out, is they're very convoluted. They are big concept ideas which require a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
But I would argue that at least Dead Reckoning does it better than the Final Reckoning. Dead Reckoning's ability to put that exposition forward is really fun.
Yeah.
And there's these incredibly melodramatic, like the scene in which where the military is all gathered and it's like Harry Elways is the head of the CIA. I believe he's the head of the CIA.
Yeah.
All these government agencies are together and they're just like, you're telling me that Ethan Hunt is going to do this, and this. It's impossible. And then it's just like super melodramatic. It's shot in like that Brian De Palma-esque way, like this visual throwback.
The shots are all
it's
from like
these intense close-ups. And then, of course, mask reveal. Ethan Hunt's in the room, gasses a room of military officials.
That was one mask reveal. I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, that's Ethan.
Yeah, which is great though because it's just so well done.
But one of the things that I love when Ethan, when we don't know it's Ethan, in the mask, compared to when we do
know it's Ethan,
and we see so in this case it's Henry.
Henry Cherney? I think it's Cherney, I believe. Yeah, Cherney.
Kittredge,
yes.
So one of the things that I love is that he gets, like, we see Ethan unmask himself, and then Kittredge is like, how do you intend to walk out of here?
Yeah.
And then Kittredge turns around, and Ethan is putting on a mask of Kittredge.
Yes.
And then,
which was a brilliant reveal.
But the thing that I love is that it's Henry Cherney playing Tom Cruise playing Henry Czerny.
Yeah.
And like you just Henry Czerny,
and he does the
Henry Czerny looking at him going,
which by the way, Tom Cruise has the best come on.
But like Henry Czerny doing that, you're just like, oh, that's Tom Cruise in there.
Yeah, it's
you
good.
You believe it's a mask. It's so
goddamn
good. And the thing and then when he shoots him to like knock him out, and Henry Czerny has that look of like absolute disdain, like
because Kittredge hates
him so much,
but needs him at the same time, which is so brilliant. This movie is just so electric and exciting, and I truly love Dead Reckoning.
It's top 3 for me.
I think it is too. I think what McQuarrie and Cruise have done over the last decade with these Mission Impossible films is so entertaining, and so fun, and they are respecting so much of what the foundation was laid by the previous films, but having fun with it, being tongue in cheek with it, and then just taking it to these epic levels.
As far as it can go without it being like, like we've seen the Fast and Furious movies like go to space.
Yes.
So,
but they're also, here's the thing, they're not literally going to space. Whereas Tom Cruise is literally in the helicopter.
Yeah.
He is hanging off the plane. But
I mean, like these movies as
he's jumping the dirt bike off the cliff.
As crazy as they go, they're still like ground, like just enough.
They are grasped just by reality.
Yeah.
Because the big stunt in this film.
That and like that was all over the marketing.
Oh, big time. Yeah,
for this film.
They knew how to get people.
But I remember seeing that sequence in its entirety, I was just like, it is so it's
the
beautiful.
Silence when it goes dun dun.
When you realize how high he is, and he is on a motorbike, and he rides the motorbike
and then
off a mountain, and then just free falls,
just glides through the air,
and he's like, I've got to get away from the cliff edges.
Him parachute crashing into the train is so fun. Buster Keaton.
Yeah.
It is so fun.
Because it's his reaction of like, oh, I made it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
holy shit, I'm alive.
And you can see like Haley Atwell being like, oh, like this is like
this is your plan.
This is your plan. Okay. Yeah.
Because the double crossing and betrayal and everything that's going on between Kittredge and Carrie Elways and the White Widow and Haley Atwell.
Yeah, because Haley Atwell gets her
and
mask.
Then Shea Wiggum and Greg Tarzan Davis who are
Haley Atwell
working for Kittredge.
Gets her mask moment.
It's so fucking
yes, we will say Greg Tarzan Davis and Shea Wiggum get introduced into this as like
they work for Kittredge,
and they're basically like, we need to stop Ethan Hunt
at whatever it costs. Yeah,
Shea Wiggum is more determined.
Yes, Greg Tarzan Davis kind of sees the method to the madness. He's like, he's not actually doing anything wrong.
So Final Reckoning,
the way those two play into the movie is really great.
Which I wasn't mad about.
No, fuck no.
No.
Love Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
And we'll say this beforehand. If you want to see all of our thoughts about the Final Reckoning, the AU Review. .com.
Yes.
And worldofscreens.com, where I've put my review up today.
Yeah.
So you'll see our full reviews of that. But quick thoughts.
Yeah.
I think it's a very fitting farewell, if it is the farewell.
Yes.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers, but like
it's called the Final Reckoning.
It's a case of, if this is it, it's gone out with heart.
A lot of heart. This is the culmination of 30 years of Mission Impossible coming to head.
But
it's kind of beautiful.
If there is another one, the way that this one ends with particular characters,
you can see where it's going to go.
I can see where it's going to go. And I'm also like, if we get another one, not mad. But I imagine audiences might be, because it's like, this is being sold as the final one.
Yeah. There is an insinuation that this might be the final mission for the IMF. Yeah. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
But
it's very back end loaded with the action scenes.
So the first,
it's a movie of two halves.
The first hour is very much like it plays a lot of it. Like actually, literally has like footage from the first.
So many flashbacks. It's during its exposition of setting up this film.
Yeah.
It is bringing in a lot of stuff from
It's like an extended clip show.
We finally find out what the rabbit's foot is. I'll say that much.
Yeah. So
it
played like unite. 1, 3, and
the rabbit's
and
foot.
Dead Reckoning are the most
pivotal ones. For sure. But there's a lot of setup and exposition, and we get some the character introductions of Hannah Waddingham and Tremel Tillman. Nick Offerman is in there. Holt McCallany. Love Holt McCallany.
Janet McTeer's in there as well.
She's incredible. So
we get Angela Bassett comes back, President of the United States.
But what I will say, and this is why I emphasized celebrating the fact that Rogue Nation and Fallout and for the most part Dead Reckoning are really well paced.
Yeah.
Final Reckoning isn't. Right. I would still say it doesn't feel like a 3-hour movie.
It does not feel as long as it is. But yeah, I agree.
Because the action scenes in the other films are so well strategically placed throughout the film that it doesn't feel like like that.
Yeah.
There was a part of me that found it a little bit messy, a little bit convoluted, but it's not my favorite mission film.
But I will say
it's still great.
Once it gets to a particular point in the film where we have an underwater sequence that is
so intense.
So
fucking intense.
This is like James Cameron doing The Abyss.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. And you can tell that they built this set.
Yeah.
And it's
so once you get to that moment, you pretty much eat really well for the rest of the movie.
I agree. And I don't think the first hour is bad. It's just flawed. It's just flawed.
And again, it's so hard coming off of Dead Reckoning, coming off of Fallout,
so this is what
coming
I was
off of Rogue
thinking,
Nation.
Right? I think we ate so well with those 3 movies.
Yeah.
And then obviously Ghost Protocol and 3 before it as well.
Yeah.
That it was almost like an impossible mission for this movie to be as great as those. Yeah. And it's really good. Final Reckoning is really good.
Great. Yeah. But it's
but it's just messy.
But I was going to say there were a few lines of dialogue that I felt like, was this something that was like written before the strike and couldn't be changed?
Yeah.
There was just a few lines that I was like, that seems a bit that seems a bit basic.
Yes.
Or that seems like you're just really spelling things out for
rushed as well.
So part of me was wondering this would have been made prior to the strikes, possibly during after.
I know they did reshoots.
Was there was there some sequences that couldn't be changed? That we kind of had to, but this is still a fantastic action movie.
Oh, and the marketing in this one
and a bad Mission Impossible movie, to aside, is still a
really
better movie
great,
than most action films are going to be.
You were watching Tom Cruise hanging off that biplane. Oh my
god!
For what is about 40 minutes of movie is truly electric.
And we'll also just say a particular character death was quite shockingly violent.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
Right?
If we're talking about Henry Cavill. Yeah. There is something that happens in this film that you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
But overall, good. I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah, it's 4 stars. But when in the ranking of everything, it feels like it's quite low. But it's only because
every Mission Impossible movie, aside from
I think our rankings are relatively the same.
I don't think we've done a full ranking, so let's do it. So we'll go from the bottom up.
Yeah.
So my Mission Impossible 2.
Mission Impossible 2.
And then
Mission Impossible.
See, I think I'm going to go Final Reckoning.
Okay.
So, Final Reckoning is my second least favorite. And then Mission Impossible.
See, I'm Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning.
So, we've got the same bottom 3, just in that different order.
Ghost Protocol.
Yep.
Mission Impossible 3.
I'm going to go... I'm going to go... Rogue Nation here,
right?
But I think it's just because I have an affinity for number 3.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go number 3.
So what have I got?
You got then your Rogue Nation. I'm guessing.
Are we out top
3 now?
Top 3. Yeah. Rogue. No. Dead Reckoning is number 3.
Okay.
Then Rogue Nation, number 2, and Fallout's number 1.
Dead Reckoning, and then Fallout number 1 for me. But I mean, at the same time, that's also being like, they're all brilliant.
Yeah,
they're all fucking brilliant.
And number 2 has a goofy charm to it.
It's still not
like
I still give it 3 stars.
Yeah, it's not great, but but it seems weird.
1 bag egg out of 8 is a pretty good.
So it's weird to be like, it's Final Reckoning is only my 3rd favorite, it's my 5th favorite one or whatever. Be like,
look at the quality that's come before it.
It's
hard to deny.
Yeah.
We love this franchise.
It's really great.
What a high note to go out on.
Yeah, right.
For monthly movie marathon.
Yeah.
We love Mission Impossible. We love Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Final Reckoning needs to be watched in the cinemas.
Oh,
in IMAX if you can. I'm guessing.
I do not want to hear anybody say like when this comes out on streaming, which the Mission Impossible movies, what I do like, they seem to take a while to get to streaming,
which is great.
Let
them breathe in the cinemas.
Let them breathe. Have them cinema, then have them on physical because I'm fucking buying this shit on 4K. I'll tell you that much. But I don't want to hear anybody say like, "Oh, I really wish I saw this in the cinemas." Like, go to the fucking movies.
Go watch it. Just do it.
And I don't want to hear also, "Oh, where can I watch it in the cinemas?"
In the cinemas.
Like
in the goddamn cinemas.
Just go to the movies.
That's all.
Just
if you
forget COVID ever happened and go to the cinemas.
If you've learned anything from our 4-year tenure on Monthly Movie Marathon, it should be go to the fucking movies.
And also, if you are like indulge in AI and if you're chronically online, you're the villain. Because that's very much what Final Reckoning is about.
We'll tell you that. We'll tell you that in not subtle ways.
Yeah.
So
Tom Cruise literally kicks someone in the face as he's saying you're too online.
Literally. Like you spend too much time on the internet.
It's so fucking good.
But that is a wrap. That is a wrap on the Monthly Movie Marathon for 4 years. Thank you all for being loyal listeners. We've loved doing the show. But we're on to new things.
Yeah.
And they'll be coming sooner than you might think. So keep an eye out on all of our socials, which we're find you, Pete.
Rated PDG on Instagram, X, Letterboxd, the aureview.com for interviews and reviews, and Rotten Tomatoes. And where can they find you? GRAY.
And then I'm at Nick's Flicks Fix on Instagram, X, and Letterboxd. Worldofscreens.com. Please go jump on there, and if you can, subscribe to the email newsletter in which you will receive posts when we update with incredible articles being written by our writers, and when podcasts drop, and maybe podcasts that have like two guys who have had a podcast for a while and actually have had two podcasts for a while, and they're actually really good.
And to be like, why not have another one?
Why not put another one out there? So be on the watch out for that.
That means that I get to be like part of World of Screens.
Absolutely.
Hey.
I think you knew that.
Yeah,
I just wanted
to hear you say
that. And of course, it's still at novastream.com.au where you'll see my interviews there. Yes. And as we said, our slate of interviews potentially for the next 6 weeks are wild.
Yes.
Which is going to be exciting.
Yeah. I was about to just say a word, but I was like, we're not actually allowed to say.
I don't think we can say much about anything.
And also, if it doesn't materialize, it'll just be like, fuck.
Fuck.
But there's some cool big stuff coming,
and we've seen some movies for them already.
We've already,
which is kind of cool.
And our next few weeks, we are seeing a lot of stuff. And again, it's like, we wish we could say it, but we can't.
But you'll know.
You'll know.
Yeah. But I guess for a final time.
Did you say binal?
I said binal time.
I thought you would have seen a final time because of Final Reckoning.
Yeah, that's the joke. The joke is as well. The joke is we say on this show, bye.